Hi everyone, I'm Felix Wyss, and how many of you use Visual Studio Code? Apparently quite a few. Yeah, it's a great tool. Microsoft obviously has done a lot of work, and one of the things that's exciting, I actually saw it just maybe yesterday. You may have seen it in the Python weekly email that they now support Jupyter notebooks natively in the Visual Studio Code. And so I wanted to quickly show this. Of course, having no preparation, I needed to figure out, well, what do I actually show? And that I can show, and that's not some work, other work that I shouldn't be showing here. So I took a presentation I gave earlier this year at our IndyPy meetup, where I actually at the time or for that presentation, really the goal was to show how to build a Flask app in Docker, to how easy that is, and then as an example actually showed how to build a OCR server with Tesseract that and put a REST API in front of it and then call it from the Jupyter notebook. And so now here I turn it around and just show the Jupyter notebook. So this is running in Visual Studio Code. It actually, Jupyter notebook actually, or Visual Studio Code runs the Jupyter server, so you can connect to one remotely. That's running local, or running on the machine, or remote, but it actually starts one itself as necessary. So here, what I'll show here is how I'm talking. Oh, it's starting this. So it started the server and obviously executed the first cell. And so here I connect to my to a local server and then use the requests to send images and get back the result. So let's do this here. So I have an image that I loaded and I plot it. So you can see here it does that all inline. So I get the output inline, and so this is the image we'll try to do some OCR on. So run it here, and I get back the result. Now, a few things to show here is, first of all, you can see Visual Studio Code actually lets you see the local variables, or the variables that are in that kernel. So you can and here, obviously, not very exciting ones. In addition, though, I can take, if I'm at an image here, for example, I can open that in a separate tab, zoom in, look at it more closely. But where this does get interesting, let's say if you have graphs, because that's for data more interesting. So let's go here, because what I'm showing here is what happens if the image is not actually straight, and basically the OCR server doesn't really like that. So showing how you can turn so here I'm doing a graph, a histogram of the pixels, and you can see here if I can look at this more closely directly in the Studio Code. As you obviously, those of you familiar with Jupyter notebooks, that's quite a bit of hassle. Now, in addition, if it's actually a pandas data frame, or in this case a NumPy array, you can actually drill down into it. It has a data viewer where you can then even filter on rows. For example, show me everything that's less than 20 directly in it without having to do in a cell with a data frame dot whatever range. And I think I'm out of time.
Yeah, excellent. Oh, I guess we got a question real quick.
With any regular Jupyter notebook?
Yes.
It's this variable type explorer thing that you have up at the top.
Pardon?
How do you get the variable
That's natively supported by Visual Studio Code now. So this is all just, again, I just saw this yesterday, played with it a little bit, and this is, and they will support debugging locally in the individual cells. That's what they're working on. Because
That looks a lot like what used to be in MATLAB, as far as how to see inside of your variables. I haven't been able to get it to work in Jupyter Lab yet.
yeah, no, this is, again, I literally just pulled or synced to my GitHub repo and opened the notebook in Visual Studio Code, and you can see it actually. You saw it launched the kernel, the server, and locally connected to it.
Sorry, one more question. So in Visual Studio Code, the way you have autocomplete or prompts, does the notebook support that as well?
Yeah. So, for example, let's see if I here have a. Actually, let's see, IMG. I thought that at least it did it when I tried it last time. So it'll show again auto completion and IntelliSense